Thanks. It's a great pleasure to be here and to get to talk about how Lemonade use Rasa, and it's a company I really admire a great deal, and our visions are just very closely aligned in terms of what we can achieve with technology, building autonomous organizations. And I'll get into what that is and how we get there. But first, a couple of words about Rasa. I gave a short talk earlier on the NLP stage, a little bit about a new product that we just launched. But I'll just show a couple of slides here to give you a bit of an outline of what we actually do and what we're all about. So we have two products. Rasa itself is an open source framework for building chatbots and voice assistants. And Rasa X is a free tool which sits alongside Rasa and helps you collect and annotate training data. Because what we found was that we can develop all the algorithms in the world, and it won't help if people who use Rasa don't have great training data to train on. So those are our two products. And we have a very fast-growing community. So we have, across a whole bunch of different industries, we have a lot of really great companies who use Rasa, build cool things with it. And I don't know if I would have guessed before we started building Rasa that it would be so sort of horizontally applicable across different verticals. And we have a very fast-growing developer community. So we have developer meetups in Beijing, in Bangalore, in Mumbai, in Sao Paulo, in San Francisco, all over the place. And it's really inspiring, actually, to see all these people contribute back to the code base. And, kind of every time we push a thing to master, people will break it, find where it stops working, and then give us feedback on it, and quite often actually implement a fix before we even get to it. So why does the curve have that nice shape, right? Why do developers love Rasa today? 3 reasons, really. The first one is it's customizable. The fact that Rasa is open source means that you can tweak and tune everything to get more performance out. And in a world where most other cloud platforms are offering AI kind of as a service, as a black box, right? You can always get better performance on your data set if you're willing to open it up and sort of tweak things, and one size fits all doesn't really work for machine learning. The second, of course, is the fact that it's open source and free, which means that you're not dependent on us, right? And you're not kind of locked into a particular vendor. And I think also, especially in the history of chatbots, we've had very different messaging, right? We've never put a picture of a brain on our website. We've never talked about AI being magic or fairy dust. All the machine learning stuff is open source. And I think that appeals to developers a great deal. And then the third point, and this is actually really important, is the fact that we empower developers. So you don't need to know really anything about machine learning to start using Rasa, but the more you want to challenge yourself to learn, the more you actually learn by kind of looking under the hood and seeing how things work. And then we see a lot of our community writing blog posts and tutorials explaining how Rasa works, and that's also really great, and that's cool for them because they get to kind of show all the things that they've been learning. So why do we exist at all? I just want to give a quick statement about our mission. Our mission is to create a world where AI assistants serve everybody. And I really enjoyed the previous talk because I think natural language interfaces for computers are a wonderful opportunity for us to build a wave of technology that includes everybody and doesn't leave people behind. And there are 1,000,001 small use cases that are really impactful and meaningful in somebody's niche, and that would just never get built if the only people who can build conversational AI are the big tech companies over in Silicon Valley. And so we want to empower all makers and all developers all over the world to build assistants that are just as good as anything the big tech companies can churn out. And to do that, we're building the standard infrastructure layer for conversational AI. And we have a ways to go to get there, but I think the trajectory we're on is a good one to be that industry standard. And how do we want to deliver on that mission? It's really 3 things. Open source, I already talked about quite a bit. The fact that it's open means you can get better performance, and means that people can trust how things work. NLP is moving incredibly fast at the moment, and I'm sure that everything we think now, sort of all the assumptions and implied knowledge that we have, I'm sure a lot of things, those assumptions will be challenged in the next couple of years. But the fact that it's open source means that it can keep evolving, right? And we're not relying on some magical secret algorithm. The community, we spend a lot of time engaging with the community. It's actually the one thing that won't change is the people who are building open source and who are building conversational AI, and applied research. So we have a large research team, certainly large relative to the size of the company, and we've overtaken the position that conversational AI is very far from being a solved problem. And there are a lot of things that we need to tackle, and we have a long roadmap of all the blockers that we want to remove. And we hang out in our forum all the time where our community hangs out and look at where do people get stuck building AI systems today and use that as inspiration for new research projects. And that brings me then to the 5 levels of conversational AI, which has at its kind of final destination the autonomous organization. And so this is a way that we started to think about how do we break down and start making meaningful progress, right? In 2016, there was all this hype for chatbots, and then there was a lot of disappointment, right? And why is that? And is it really so binary as all chatbots suck until eventually, Google will hand us artificial general intelligence and then we'll just plug it in and everything will work magically? No, that's not a useful way to think about things. So we decided to split things down into 5 levels. So level 1 is really notifications, right? Just getting a push notification, maybe in a messaging app. And there might be a huge amount of intelligence that goes into deciding to send you that notification, right? There might be some really sophisticated anomaly detection that went on. But in terms of conversation, it's the simplest possible thing. It's a single interaction. And then where we were at in 2016 was really level 2. So that's kind of one question maps to one answer. Maybe you have 1 or 2 follow-up questions, but it's all kind of hard-coded, and when you get off the guardrails, things fall apart rather quickly. Level 3 is kind of where the best teams are at today. And if you saw the Google Duplex demo, I think that was a great example of what level 3 assistants look like. So you have natural, fluid conversation within one narrow domain. Right? So you can ask follow-up questions, you can change your mind about things, you can interrogate things more, and you can have a lot more than just the predefined FAQ flows that somebody built in a point-and-click bot tool. And that's something that certainly today, if you want to build that, you need to be investing in getting engineers working on the system. That doesn't just fall out of any platform. When we start to look at level 4, one of the key tenets of that is to see assistants which are personalized. So they take, they actually adjust how they help you depending on what your particular needs are. And then where we're headed in the next 5 to 10 years is really autonomous organizations. And we see Lemonade as an example of a company that's kind of pushing the boat there, kind of really at the state of the art. And what an autonomous organization means that you've managed to create large sections of your organization, large amounts of work, which get completely loaded off to automation. So you might have multiple assistants which coordinate and talk to each other to complete some relatively complex task. You might have bots for all the different sort of business functions in your organization, right? And you achieve a very high efficiency as a business because nobody is stuck doing the really boring, repetitive things. And AI assistants are a great way to achieve that because you can quite often circumnavigate a lot of legacy systems by using a combination of things like RPA and conversational AI to kind of get around rather than building up SaaS platforms from the ground up. So with that, I'll hand over to Natty, who's going to talk a bit about Lemonade.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much. So let's talk about Lemonade. I want you to forget everything you know about insurance. We are a full-stack insurance company, which means that we are the carrier. We are doing the underwriting ourselves. We are not brokers. And we are powered by AI, behavioral economics, and social good. I'll get into that in a second. We have around 500,000 active policyholders in the United States, and we have just recently launched in Europe as part of our global expansion. Our founders, Daniel Schreiber and Shai Vinegar, saw the potential for disruption in the insurance business. They actually saw an industry that is broken by design, since the business model is conflicted. It's actually built in a way that creates an incentive to deny your claims. Think about it. Every dollar they save in your claim goes directly to their bottom line. At Lemonade, we are different. We are taking a flat fee of 25%, and the rest go to pay claims. And that's actually takes us out of the loop. We have no incentive to deny your claims, right? Because we already took our profit. And if there's money left over from the unclaimed money, we give it back to charity. It's not our money. We give it back to charities that our customer choose. And therefore, everyone gets an insurance that is fast, affordable, delightful, and society gets a push for the better. But let's get back a little bit to AI and bots. Think of us like an insurance company that haven't sold a single policy by a human being. We have a bot for the onboarding process. We call Maya. She never gets tired, 24/7. And by the end of the flow, you would get an active policy. You are covered. It's not like filling in a form in the website and wait for someone to call you and get you to be covered. The second bot is the claim bot, and this is unprecedented. We pay claims with bots, fully automated. It means that you sign in the app, we open a video for you integrated in the app, you tell us what happened, no forms, no hassle, no paperwork, and then we run some anti-fraud algorithms and model behind the scenes, and if you are not a fraudulent user and everything legit, we pay you instantly, within a second, directly to your bank account. Third of our claims are being paid this way. The third bot is it's a natural language bot for customer experience and support. We expose the natural language interface to allow our customers to ask us anything they want to do, like update their credit card, or update their phone number, or change in addresses, or add their spouse, etc. And more than 20% of our tickets are handled 24/7 by our bots. So, like I said, bots and AI are cool, but why don't we use it internally as well, not just for customer-facing applications? So we have a concept, a wider concept in Lemonade that's called autonomous organization, and we have an index that we call automation index, which is the ratio between active policy holders to the number of employees. And it pushes us to be more and more efficient and more scalable to do that. So in order to do that, we have an internal bot we call Cooper. So I want you to meet Cooper. Cooper understands natural language using Rasa. And we are interacting with Cooper with Slack messages. So Cooper actually can interact with many departments in the organization, like finance, issue reports and BI, help as HR to onboard new employees, to automate the process, helps sales and marketing to generate statistics and spend, etc. But to give you a taste, let's see a use case like feature development cycle. In order for Cooper to help us, our developers, to do the process, we integrate 3 different frameworks: GitHub, Slack, and Kanbanize. Kanbanize is a tool that we are using to manage our Kanban agile development process. So let's say I want to start working on a ticket. So I tell Cooper, hey Cooper, I want to start working on the ticket. Cooper, and using Rasa, of course, in natural language. Cooper will create a branch for me over GitHub, and will move the ticket from to do to in progress in Kanban. And all I got left to do is just hit git checkout and the name of the branch and start working on my ticket. The next phase is that I want a code review. So I ask in natural language, I tell Cooper that I want to have a pull request, and I want Mark to review my code. So Cooper generates a pull request for me over GitHub, send me the link, and move the ticket from in progress to PR, and send a Slack message to Mark with the link to the pull request, and tell him that I want him to be my code reviewer. Now another magic starts when Mark actually approved my ticket. When Mark approved my ticket, he tells Cooper, yo, Cooper, please approve the PR. And Cooper now build a staging environment over Jenkins and AWS, send it to QA with all the details, send a Slack message to QA, and no hassle, everything is hands-free. So I hope you can appreciate the power that this kind of automation tools have in saving time to our developers. This is just a use case for the R&D. But imagine if you save 10 minutes a day for your employee or for your developer, and you have 20 developers, you save 200 minutes a day just by saving automated or repetitive work and overhead that has no actual benefits. So in order to do it even better, we used a natural language interface using Rasa, and that actually increases the engagement, and especially to new users, you don't have to memorize commands or predefined keywords. You just say what you want, and everything happens magically using intent extraction and name entity recognition and all of the technology out there. So yeah, that's it. And we're hiring as well, so if you want to.